Designer Note Subject 59. Watch modding has been picking up in notoriety in the past few years. What was once known as a means to repair and restore a watch has now become an expression of one's originality and uniqueness. Most may be familiar with seiko mods, while others sink their teeth into G-Shocks such as this. And then there are some who have access to fancier materials such as the Bamford Watch Department. Let's see why they're a bit more special. Bamford is founded by George Bamford, and he has been always fascinated by vintage cars and sports watches. After being offered a Rolex Daytona for his 18th birthday and witnessing half of the people in his dinner party sporting one, George sought out a way to make his Daytona a bit more Bamford flavored. He turned to DLC coating to completely transform his Daytona. It was such a distinct look that it garnered much attention during a holiday trip in France. And 25 orders later, the Bamford Watch Department is born. Like, comment, and subscribe for content you'd like to see next. Follow us on Instagram at Design Atelier Aruba for behind-the-scenes content. Email us at designatelierviewer@gmail.com. Bamford wanted something more special than just coating his Daytona's stainless steel case and bracelet. He wanted something that alters the structural makeup of the watch. This is where diamond-like carbon or DLC comes in. Beside a vanilla Daytona, the difference is night and day. Not only that, DLC coating is also relatively wear resistant compared to conventional PVD coating. Bamford also modified other models of the famous brand, but they're not limited to Rolex only. There are some AP models that's interesting to say the least. This one, for example, is a matte finish DLC. Bamford also customizes other parts of the watch besides the case. Indexes and hands are all customizable by the department. They employ their own watchmakers that can print, loom, and work on their own dials. Patek was not spared from the Bamford treatment. There are a few references that they worked on with some other colors aside from black. These are all unique pieces. So long as you have the money to spare and the lusting for something uniquely customized, Bamford was at your service. There is a price to pay for such a freedom of preference. Bamford through the years started to see the limitations of customizing haute horology pieces. Clients started to receive refusals of service from Rolex when they found out that it's customized by Bamford. Despite the insistence of Bamford to leave the movements untouched, it wasn't enough to sway Rolex away from legal issues. Bamford smartly departed from modding Rolexes and instead worked out a deal with Jean-Claude Biver and LVMH. Tag Heuer, Bvlgari, and Zenith are now brands in play for Bamford to toy around with. First up is Tag Heuer. You currently have the variety of choices for models of this famous watch brand under the Bamford customization service. Simply click on the model that you prefer, choose from the multitudes of options from the case and dial, and then submit your creation to order. If you're not in the mood to creatively challenge yourself, you can also buy their new limited edition Aqua Razor. This one is housed in titanium and glazed with black and orange accents. The dial is also a custom radial texture and sectored into quadrants. It's a very Bamford reimagining of the Aqua Razor, and this one is limited to just 1,500 pieces. Bvlgari benefited with the DLC treatment when they brought the Octo line to Bamford. This one is something very special because not only will you be able to buy a solid watch with all the new custom colors, but you're also, of course, getting a movement from a now respectable watchmaker / jeweler like Bvlgari. Speaking of special, Zenith too collaborated with Bamford and Black Badger on a special case for the Zenith El Primero. This one is made of copper niobium superconductors. It's built in a way that makes it seem that the honeycomb pattern is being decayed away from the case, revealing its grained inner skin. But Bamford is not limited to LVMH brands. We saw earlier this year how they collaborated with Casio with a G-Shock sporting the Bamford powder blue motif that sold out in a matter of minutes. They also partnered up with Girard Perregaux with first for both companies in the use of white ceramic. The combination is very much the design language of Bamford, with striking high contrast colors on a traditionally subtle laureato. This one comes in two variants, one on a bracelet and one in a delightfully playful leather strap. Bamford also has their own line of watches that utilizes various movements from Miyota quartz to Sellita GMTs. The design style is undeniably Bamford with striking contrast of colors against the black and gray. The line styles are simplistic and linear, true to the minimalist ideals of the company. Within these watch lines, they also have some limited collaborations, such as the Snoopy Colette collaboration, which pleasantly comes with a neat watch box. Customizing watches is now truly mainstream, whether you're in a budget or if money's not even a consideration. Design-wise though, both ends of the spectrum has its own perils. Poor quality and fit is a trap that budget modders need to avoid, while gaudy and over-flamboyance is all too normal with icing your piece. Bamford was able to avoid both so far. With a strong design identity and careful eye at visual harmony, Bamford's watches remain tasteful and attractive. If Mr. Weaver recognizes Bamford's ability to turn a classic watch, such as the Daytona, into a trendy piece of art for mainstream appreciation, it also warrants our attention. Attention aside, these custom modded watches' true value really comes from you, the one who built it or commissioned its creation. It's the extension of your imagination, materialized in metal or whatever material you want it made with, no matter how twisted that idea may be. George had an idea and set things in motion to turn that idea into something that he can touch and wear. That's something that many of us can actually relate to. Now, if only we could play around with Daytonas and Royal Oaks like George did.